Katherine Short dies at 42, a life beyond the spotlight. A name connected to Hollywood, but a life rooted in service. Katherine Short, daughter of legendary comedian and actor Martin Short, has died at the age of 42. And while headlines may first recognize her through her father's fame, her story stands on its own, defined not by stage lights or studio audiences, but by compassion, advocacy, and a deliberate decision to live outside the glare of celebrity. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to understand contrast. Martin Short built a career on visibility. From sketch comedy to film to live performance, he became known for unforgettable characters, high energy presence, and a career that spanned decades. His name is recognized across generations. His work made people laugh in living rooms, theaters, and arenas around the world. Catherine chose something entirely different. Growing up in a household where creativity and performance were part of everyday life, she understood the machinery of entertainment. She saw what public life required. She saw the travel, the press, the expectations, the applause. And instead of stepping into that world, she stepped into one that rarely receives applause at all. She became a social worker in Los Angeles. That choice says more than any headline ever could. Los Angeles is a city of extremes. Extraordinary wealth and visible poverty exist within blocks of each other. The region faces ongoing challenges related to housing instability, mental health, addiction, and family crisis. Social workers in that environment operate at the front lines of those realities. They navigate bureaucratic systems. They connect families with resources. They intervene in moments of trauma. They provide stability when stability feels impossible. It is not glamorous work. It is not televised. It does not trend. It matters anyway. Colleagues describe Catherine as compassionate and steady. In a profession where emotional exhaustion is common, steadiness becomes a superpower. Showing up consistently becomes the difference between someone feeling abandoned and someone feeling supported. Social work requires patience that stretches across months, sometimes years. It requires listening without judgment. It requires absorbing stories that most people would struggle to hear. This was the life she chose. There is something powerful about someone who could have pursued public recognition and instead pursued impact. Fame can open doors, it can create shortcuts, but it can also create expectations. For children of well known public figures, identity can easily become overshadowed by lineage. The pressure to follow a similar path or at least remain adjacent to it is real. Catherine built her own identity. She did not reject her family's legacy, she simply expanded it. While her father's career brought joy through laughter, she contributed to her community through care. Both forms of impact are meaningful. They simply operate in different arenas. Her passing at 42 has sparked an outpouring of condolences. Public statements reflect both grief and admiration, but beyond the headlines, there is a quieter truth emerging. The most meaningful tributes are not about celebrity, they are about character. Friends and colleagues speak about her empathy, about her reliability, about her willingness to advocate for people navigating some of the hardest chapters of their lives. Those details paint a portrait more compelling than any red carpet image ever could. In documentary storytelling, moments like this often invite reflection not just on the individual, but on the systems around them. Social work as a profession rarely receives sustained attention unless crisis forces it into view. Yet, every day across cities like Los Angeles, professionals quietly intervene to prevent crises from spiraling further. They coordinate care, they secure housing placements, they support children and families during instability, they connect individuals with mental health resources, and they do it largely without recognition. When someone from a well known family chooses that path, it highlights something profound. It suggests that purpose is not inherited, it is chosen. It suggests that legacy is not only about what you are given, but about what you decide to build. The story of Catherine Short also touches on something universal: the complexity of living in the shadow of fame. Children of public figures often navigate a delicate balance between privacy and public curiosity. Every milestone can attract attention. Every decision can be interpreted through the lens of family legacy. Choosing a profession centered on service may have offered something grounding, something real. In a city often associated with performance, she worked in environments defined by authenticity, in rooms where vulnerability is not scripted, in conversations where outcomes matter deeply. Her life invites us to rethink what visibility means. In entertainment, visibility equals success. In social work, effectiveness often requires discretion. Trust is built quietly. Confidentiality is foundational. The impact of the work is measured in stability, in safety, in improved circumstances, not in headlines. 42 is an age that feels both young and substantial. It represents decades of lived experience, relationships built, contributions made. It also represents time that feels cut short. The public may focus on the number. Those who knew her likely focus on the years of consistency, the accumulated moments of support, the small victories achieved alongside clients and families. Loss reframes perspective. In moments like this, families grieve privately while the public processes collectively. The balance between honoring someone's life and respecting boundaries becomes delicate. What remains clear is that Catherine Short's legacy exists in the community she served, in the people who benefited from her advocacy, in the colleagues who witnessed her dedication. Her story also resonates because it counters a cultural narrative that equates importance with fame. Society often celebrates visibility, followers, awards, applause. Yet communities are sustained by people whose names are rarely known beyond local circles. Teachers, nurses, social workers, caregivers. Catherine belonged to that group, and there is something quietly powerful about that. When the daughter of a globally recognized entertainer chooses a career path defined by service, it expands the definition of success. It challenges assumptions. It reminds us that fulfillment does not require a spotlight. Martin Short's career brought laughter to millions. That is a form of cultural contribution. Catherine's career supported individuals navigating crisis. That is a form of community contribution. Together, they reflect different dimensions of impact within one family. As tributes continue, the focus shifts from the fact of her passing to the shape of her life, a life built intentionally, a life grounded in empathy, a life that demonstrates how purpose can diverge from expectation. In documentary terms, this is not just a story about loss, it is a story about identity, about autonomy, about choosing a path that aligns with personal values rather than public assumption. Los Angeles will continue to be a city of stories. Some will unfold on studio lots and stages. Others will unfold in offices, community centers, and living rooms where social workers meet families seeking stability. Catherine Short's story belongs to the latter. Her name may appear in entertainment headlines because of her father's legacy, but the substance of her life was rooted in something deeper: service, care, advocacy. In the end, perhaps the most meaningful tribute is not simply remembering who she was connected to, but recognizing what she chose to become: a social worker in a complex city, a steady presence in difficult moments, a life lived beyond the spotlight.